would. It's okay. Loosen up. We're going to have a good time this evening, very informative, educational, right? And we're going to get to the meat of a lot of your concerns in the community. We are asking that each candidate please 1 minute, 60-second responses so that we can get through as many of our questions as possible. And hopefully by the end or before the end, we'll have some time left if the audience has questions as well. Okay? So we will start, and that will be right facing. We're going to start right. We're going to start with Mr. Terry 5, okay? And we'll work our way to the left, okay? So if you would just quickly, in 1 minute, 60 seconds, just, your name and the seat that you're running for in the city of Stonecrest.
All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hey, everyone, my name is Terry Clyde. I'm a candidate for Stonecrest City Council District 2, and I'm running on the platform of restoring faith in Stonecrest. Again, since I've been growing up in the city since I've lived here since I was 13 years old. I've been to Mayoral High School. I've been a resident in this community, and I've watched it grow up I've grown up alongside the city. And so I can tell you that I've been here, since I've been in this community, I've seen a lot of progress, seen a lot of great things happen, and I want to continue that progress, continue to earn citizen support with our city and as we continue to grow. So we have 3 main tenets that we're working on: increasing transparency, making sure that we're tackling property crime, and overall improving quality of life and engaging with our young people. So I hope to engage with all of you and talk to you about our plan to restore faith in Stonecrest.
Thank you. Mr. 5 is running for Council Seat District 2. At this time, Mr. Bernard Smith, Jr.
My name is Bernard Smith. Thank you guys for having me. I'm running for mayor as well. I'm running to change the city around. I like to see Stonecrest as an essentially city for other cities to follow. I like for other cities to be like this. I'm running on crime. I plan on tackling crime. I plan on tackling education. And I plan on changing the way.
Thank you. Ms. Diane O'Donnell.
Good evening, Stonecrest. I'm Diane O'Donnell, and I'd like to be your next mayor. I am running on a proven track record of accountability, transparency, and of course, integrity. Those things are extremely important right now because our city is at a crossroads. And that crossroads means we're at a point where it is very important that we take this election serious. Because at the end of the day, we've had a city that's been in operation for going on almost 70 years. When we drive around our city, you can see very nice communities like Beacon, Trinity, Brooksville, Sandstone, and all those communities. But we also see things like potholes, we have an increase in crime, we definitely need economic development. And I am the candidate who have already written successful economic development plans, feasibility studies. Those plans have been broadcast across the nation, and today, small cities that I've worked with, other municipalities, because of the work that I've done for them, they currently are thriving. They have Starbucks and they have retail shops and restaurants. Elect me as your next mayor so we can do more than just survive. I'd like for Stonecrest to thrive. Again, I'm Diane O'Donnell. You can visit my website at dianeformayor.com, and I look forward to answering the rest of your questions. Thank you.
1 moment. We have a little mic issue there. Thank you. Thank you. Next, Belinda Hull.
Hello, everyone. My name is Belinda Hull. I am running for City Council District 2. And the reason I decided to get into this race because I do not and did not like the direction Stonecrest is going in. I am here to put us back on the track to becoming a world-class city and focusing on economic development, paying close attention and listening to our seniors, listening to our youth, because everyone has to be listened to. Because if we listen to one another, we can come up with a solution. So I would love to have a seat at the table because I have the experience that is required here. I'm a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur. I have been a successful real estate agent for over 37 years. For many, many years, I was the top agent for North DeKalb and South DeKalb. I was always in the top 5. I'm a restaurant owner, and I just would love to represent you guys. And I want to listen. Number one, I want to listen to your concerns. And I will, okay.
Thank you. Next, Kirby Frazier.
Yes, good evening, Stonecrest. How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kirby Frazier. Bring it down so I'm a little loud. And I'm seeking the office of mayor of the city of Stonecrest. I'm one of the military veterans that decided to jump in this race, try to add stability back to the city. Proven leadership, tried and tested in the U.S. Army. But here's the thing. The city's been around for about 7 years. There have been a lot of problematic things going on in the city. We all know that. And I put a platform together simple, just to restore the trust. Now, we've been rocked by issues. Stonecrest is not a city that's only been plagued by the issues. We can come out of this situation here. It's going to take the people to start voicing their opinion as to what's going on in the city and what you want. And you have a person who's seeking office now who's willing to listen to you. I'm not just going to listen to you. I want to involve you in the problem and the solution part of this situation here. Now, if you elect me mayor, you're going to get your money's worth. As you know, these jobs don't pay a whole lot of money. I don't think anybody up here is applying for these jobs for the money. We're here to put the city back on track. We want to use what we got. A lot of folks up here, they have these education, they have these experiences. We're going to try to share them with you tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kirby Frazier, and I'm seeking the office of mayor for the city of Stonecrest.
Dele Loman.
Good evening, Stonecrest. My name is Dele Loman, and I am running to be your next mayor of the city of Stonecrest. I am running to help us establish a well-run, stable city where every citizen has the ability to thrive. I've only got a minute here, so I will just tell you I am bringing my 20 years of local government experience, a good deal of that as an executive, some of that in a governing capacity as the immediate past chair of the DeKalb Board of Registration and Elections, to bear to help us to meet the vision that we had when Stonecrest became a city. Sorry, cough drop. I look forward to sharing more this evening as we get to answer questions about how my experience and vision can help us move forward together as a community. Thank you.
So we will go back for Ms. Malika Wells.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I apologize for my tardiness this evening. Very glad to be here. Thank you for having me. Yes, my name is Malika Wells, and I am your candidate for the District 4 City of Stonecrest Council seat. I'm looking forward to helping this city, and District 4 in particular, become the cleanest, safest, most welcoming district in Stonecrest. I'm running on a platform to be accessible and proactive and available and engaging. My intention is to make sure that we have significant representation for District 4. So when I have been speaking to my District 4 neighbors, I've heard them say that they are concerned about the level of communication that they've been getting. They're concerned that there's only been really one way for them to be communicated with. If they don't visit the website, they're missing out on so much. They're missing out on letting their voices be heard. They're missing out on being involved in the decision-making processes for the city. And so I see my candidacy as one that will bring the people back to this people-powered government, restoring our democracy in a very significant way. So thank you.
Thank you. So again, as a reminder, each candidate will have 60 seconds, 1 minute, to answer the questions. We have a number of really great questions from the community, so we want to get through all of them by 8 o'clock, prior to 8 o'clock, so that we may have some time for the audience to also pose questions if we have time to do so. Okay? So we'll start with the first question, all right? And I'll start this way, left to right. This question is it's concerning rising crime rates. How do you plan to address the rising crime rates in the city of Stonecrest? And what specific strategies do you have in mind to improve public safety? Ms. Daylay.
Thank you for that question. I would, in order to adequately answer it, need probably about 30 minutes to respond. I will say that what comes to mind when I think about this is a quote that I love. Charles Kettering, former head of research for GM, said, "A problem well stated is a problem half solved." And I think that when we talk about crime, we lump a bunch of things together, right, without really examining what is in that box that we have labeled crime, so that we are not yet able to understand all of the contributing factors to property crime, to violent crime, to youth crime, to domestic violence and interpersonal violence, to vagrancy, and shoplifting. There is a wide range of things that we have to address, and because we've not had the opportunity to really examine them and state the problem clearly, it seems like the stamp of increased policing or creating our own police department is the silver bullet that will solve all of them, and that is not the case. We have to understand what is contributing to all of these different types so that we can come up with a range of solutions. I believe that we need to first analyze it and understand the contributing factors. We need to engage the resources that are best suited to help, and then we need to make better use of technology, and finally we need to sit down and revisit the intergovernmental agreement with DeKalb County to ensure that we have service level agreements and are getting what we are paying for. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Frazier, do you need the question repeated, or are you?
Yes, go ahead with the question.
Okay.
That'll be fine.
Rising crime rates. How do you plan to address the rising crime rates in the city of Stonecrest? And what specific strategies do you have in mind to improve public safety?
That's a very good question. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that most of you have worked for different companies, different industries, and when you come to a company, the first thing you hear is safety first. Safety first. It's no different from the city. It should still be safety first. Now, what can we do about the situation in Stonecrest right now? The number that I've read and did the research on, we're somewhere around 38% crime in Stonecrest. Now, does that meet the national average? It's close to it. So we have a problem in Stonecrest. We've been around for almost 7 years. Maybe it's time for us to look at the possibility of installing our own police force. Now, we understand right now it's problematic to recruit law enforcement. But what if we take that on ourselves? Let's take that on and still partner with the county, because we got options out there. Because it's tax dollars are paying for this, is your tax dollars. So it takes about a year. I'm letting you know off the bat, it takes about a year for us to really take over that particular part of safety.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Belinda.
Dealing with crimes, I feel like first we need to deal with our youth by bringing in different ambassador programs. We need to find their influencer, like peer-to-peer. Also, I feel like we need to install more street lights. We need to install more surveillance cameras, more sidewalks. And I feel adamantly that we need our police department. And that's how I feel like what we need to do to sort of cut back on crime, because every time we turn the TV on, Stonecrest is almost like the first conversation in the news. And that's how I feel like we need to, first we've got to deal with our youth, because that is a problem. And we've got to help them, we've got to listen to them, and we've got to work together. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Diane. Madonna.
If we want economic development, we have to deal with the question of crime. I was told that here in our geographic area, we only have anywhere on any given day about 7 police officers patrolling all the way back from the Gwinnett County line to all the way over across Covington. Now, don't quote me on the numbers, but I bet you if you fact check me, you'll find out that I'm pretty close. So if we want to have the quality shops and restaurants that we deserve, we're going to have to battle crime. So how would I do that? Currently, we have an intergovernmental agreement with the county. We have to work closely with the county. No one is auditing that agreement. We don't even know if we're supposed to have 20 policemen or 5. We don't know. But until we audit that, and we've been a city 7 years, don't you think that's long enough for us to know what's in that IGA? Number 2, we're currently paying more than $500,000 for uncertified police officers for the mayor and the council. That's a fact. Fact check me on that. I would take some of that money, and perhaps if we need 2 more police officers, that might just bring them in. I don't know yet. I haven't crunched the numbers, but you and I can count. We know it would make a difference. If we want to build this city,
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Diana Doma for mayor.
Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Question, Madonna?
Yes. Rising crime rates. How do you plan to address the rising crime rates in the city of Stonecrest? And what specific strategies do you have in mind to improve public safety?
I think that in order for us to get the economic development that we want, the first thing we have to do is to tackle the crime. Right now, we have 6 police officers. Adomo is closest. There's 6 police officers to patrol our area every day. Some days you do have 7, but on most days it's 6 police officers. We need at least 12 police officers. On my first day as the mayor, I will scramble up the money and make sure that we have enough for at least 12 police officers canvassing our area. That's what I would do in the first 2 years of my candidacy or my term. 3rd year, 4th year, I would try to 18 officers. And also, I would also try to implement our own police force. I think that's something that we need. I think if we're going to be a vibrant city, a police force is something we're going to have. And we have to invest in that in our future if we're going to be the city that we want to be. Thank you.
Mr. Fox.
Perfect. All right then. So after making nearly 5,000 contacts with residents in District 2, we learned that public safety was the #1 issue for District 2 residents. And I've been the only candidate on the stage that's been with them from the beginning. And I was the only candidate on stage that actually fought with the city council, fought during the last city council meeting, and encouraged them to pass the public safety line item on the FY 2024 budget. I supported having a public safety liaison to give us more police, make sure that we're tackling crime, and actually eventually making sure that we're transitioning safely and effectively with citizen input towards our own public safety force. Some things that I personally plan on doing with making sure that we're tackling public safety is 1, making sure that we're increasing the penalties for unlawful discharge of firearms in District 2 and across the city. We hear that all throughout the year. We've actually had situations in District 5 where a resident had a bullet come through and actually hit into their apartment. That's an issue that keeps happening. In addition, I want to make sure that we're tackling street racing that happens on Panola Road, Covington Highway, and Snapfinger. Thank you.
Ms. Malika.
So we need the mic, right? And not the, do I need the
If it's working, you're
Okay.
good.
Okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't doubling nothing.
Right.
So,
we can hear you.
thank you for the question, very much so. So I did crime-mapping.org, and I realized that within 2-mile radius of my house, which includes parts of District 3, parts of District 5, there were, in the last 28 days, 214 incidents. 66 of those were assaults, okay? These mostly happen on certain days of the week. So if you look at the crime mapping, it will tell you which days of the week these are mostly occurring on. And what are the issues that we can do? How can we address these things happening? One thing I want to say is we've been talking about having a liaison for Stonecrest. The interesting thing is I spoke with a contact at the DeKalb County Police Department. There is someone in that department that has been identified as the Stonecrest liaison. So maybe we don't have someone from Stonecrest identified to go to DKPD, but we do have someone there that we can be in contact with and can consistent communication with. We need to get perspective on the issue. So there's 214 per 23,862 people in a 2-mile radius of my house. So that means that there's an average of 897 crimes happening a year. The average for Georgia is 1,742 per 100,000 people.
Thank you.
Oh, it's hard to do it.
It is. It's a lot of meat.
Talk to me after.
It's a very important topic, very important topic. I mean, I looked up the stats before, coming earlier this week, and it's quite alarming.
Yes.
So we should all be very concerned, very concerned. Thank you.
Are we able to vote? Are we able to vote on these?
Let's try to get through the questions. Because, we are a panel full of talkers, so let's try to get through so that people can actually get the answers, and if we have some time at the end, make note, okay? The next question is inflation and cost of living. Inflation and cost of living. Factoring in inflation and the rising cost of living, how do you plan to ensure Stonecrest residents can afford basic necessities and amenities to sustain a decent standard of living? Ms. Daly.
That's a good question, and I think that that really is a question of roles, because there are obviously multiple levels of government, and we don't control all of the levers, but we can control, specifically mentioned in that question in terms of being able to afford things like housing, which I think we're going to get to in more detail later, is looking at opportunities for the city to get more affordable housing, which we have not done thus far, and is a need not just in Stonecrest, but across Georgia, really across the United States. I think one of the other ways to do it is that we've got to really focus on creating a strong commercial district here in Stonecrest so that we have good paying jobs that people can go to right here in their own city, that allow them to afford to pay their bills and live comfortably and take care of their families. I think when we do that, we can also partner with other organizations in the community, partner with other levels of government to help make sure that our citizens are able to thrive even in a high cost of living environment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you repeat that question one more time?
Yes, sir. Inflation and cost of living. Factoring in inflation and the rising cost of living, how do you plan to ensure Stonecrest residents can afford basic necessities and amenities to sustain a decent standard of living?
Yes, and we have to define a decent standard of living. In Stonecrest, I was told, I did some research too, the median salary is somewhere in the mid-50s for the city. But that's not a limit, that's just the median salary. Now, in Stonecrest, whether you guys understand this or not, economic development is something that's big, that's been missing from Stonecrest. For whatever reason, we need to build that part of Stonecrest business again. For whatever reason, it didn't happen. Businesses come to Stonecrest and they pass through Stonecrest, go to other cities, other counties. But we're gonna have to do something in Stonecrest. What that something is, look at our economic development plan. So we can get jobs in Stonecrest so people stop leaving Stonecrest and stay in work in Stonecrest so we can get our income, our salary up. And that's the short answer, we don't have a minute. There's more, hopefully we can get it in for a nice over. That's a big one. Thank you, ladies and
Thank you.
Okay, when we talk about inflation, cost of living, that is a nationwide problem. We can't resolve that here in Stonecrest, but we can focus on economic development and try to bring in companies that will maybe pay a little more money. But any successful city is strong with the economic development because most of our dollars come from businesses. So we have businesses coming in and we got the tax dollars, and then we can, you know, we're doing pretty good as a city, and we're able to do more for the citizens. But like I said, that the inflation and all that is a nationwide problem. So we can't start here in Stonecrest and it can't end here. The whole United States, we have to work together, but we can try to focus on bringing in companies that will offer higher paying jobs to kind of offset some of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have to create jobs, but the jobs have to be high-paying jobs. There are 3 industries that the city of Stonecrest can easily sustain. Those industries are technology, tourism, and healthcare. Now, since COVID, every last one of us have been impacted. But did you know that we received ARPA money and that each household and each small business in Stonecrest could have unilaterally received a grant up to about 30 grand per household? Did you know that? And so those are the things, those are the bread and butter issues. That puts gas in your car, food on your table, help you with your children. In order for us to be able to build a quality community, we're gonna have to clean up the city, we're gonna have to reduce the crime, we're gonna have to hold people accountable, and we're gonna have to have ethical leadership with integrity. Because that's the only way that we're gonna get the type of economic development that we so badly deserve. You cannot raise a family on $10 an hour. We have to create better jobs in Stonecrest. Vote for Diana Doma, and I promise you, we'll turn this city around. Thank you.
I think that Diane's answer is probably the most on-point answer we're going to have up here. The jobs that we have in Stonecrest do not sustain the level of homes that we're building here in Stonecrest. We're building homes starting at $300,000, $500,000, $700,000. You're not going to find those kind of jobs to sustain those kind of homes here. We do need more economic development. I do agree with that. But even with economic development, I don't think it was still going to sustain the kind of jobs to come with those type of residential houses. Even if we go into apartments that we're building in Stonecrest, people are calling for higher level of apartments, for higher quality apartments. And you can't afford those apartments living here in Stonecrest. That's it.
Thank you.
So the cost of living is a huge issue for everyone in Stonecrest, as many of our colleagues have said. And around 57% of the Stonecrest residents living in District 2 are retirees or are in transition for retirement. And so one of the things that I think we can actively do as a city is ensure that we're keeping our millage rate at a low and sustainable cost as we continue to face this inflation and crazy stuff happening throughout the nation. So I think that that's one of the things that we can make sure that we're doing. In addition to doing that, making sure that it's easy to build and help and develop to build and do business in Stonecrest. We have a myriad of small businesses run from people's homes that we can help support and actually build up the ground and help build up that dollar, and make sure that we're increasing the dollar and the value of residents in the city. So making sure we're doing that, making sure that we're helping out every single way that we can from the government standpoint, our millage rate at a low point across the cap. That's what we can do in Stonecrest. Thank you.
Inflation and cost of living. Factoring in inflation and the rising cost of living, how do you plan to ensure Stonecrest residents can afford basic necessities and amenities to sustain a decent standard of living?
And we have had a lot of wonderful answers to that question, and I think it's important to note that that will be a cross between providing good-paying jobs, yes, as we heard, but also supporting entrepreneurship. Yesterday, I attended the Atlanta Wealth Building Initiatives event, building beloved economies, and it was really eye-opening. They shared 18 recommendations for the city level and how cities can support sustainable living for Black families in particular. We know that Stonecrest is 93% Black. So there's a lot of information out there for us to get access to, as well as a lot of partnership. We have a DeKalb County Department of Workforce Development that we can partner with to ensure that our communities are having access to the tools to increase their skills level and their marketability, as well as figuring out how we as a city can support our entrepreneurs in finding access to capital, which is a lot of times a major stumbling block for entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So everyone has pretty much touched on some part of this question as it relates to small businesses. So I'll just go ahead and throw this one in there. Public and private partnerships. Given the impact of the new Black Wall Street market on the quality of life of Stonecrest residents, particularly seniors and small business owners, in what ways do you plan to support its future development, as well as the new Black Wall Street Village and other multi-use facilities and developments within the city of Stonecrest? And we'll start with you, Ms. Daly.
So there's a whole lot in that question.
Yes.
And I think that where we have to start is being clear about our vision. We still, after almost 7 years, do not have a clearly articulated vision for where we are going as a city. What are we developing in this part of the city? How are we going to address the zoning and adjust the zoning to ensure that we get the types of development and growth that we want and need in our community? We have to start there. And then we can invite in and partner with whatever developers, businesses, and the like align with that vision. From there, we will be able to start seeing progress towards what we want to see in our community. But all of it starts with a clear vision. Thank you.
Yes, man, I hate to piggyback off on this moment, but she hit the nail on the head, ladies and gentlemen. A clear vision for the city of Stonecrest. How do we partner with our partners to keep the recycling? I keep saying recycling dollar, but economic development goes back there again. Businesses that we establish in Stonecrest should be supporting other businesses. And they support other businesses by what? Coming out, buying a product, buying services. Now, new Black Wall Street, new business on the block, offer a lot of different variety of businesses here. Now, there are people that work in Stonecrest. We need to start talking to these business owners and explaining to them, what do we have to offer in Stonecrest? New Black Wall Street has been there for a while. As I walk through this building, there's a lot of different things that they have to offer. We need to start getting out there. That goes back to economic development again. The vision. What do we want to do? We got to start recycling these things within the city. Can't let it go outside the city. Again, that's the short answer. We have 1 minute. But we have to take care of ourselves. Take care of ourselves. Then we'll grow. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
I will always continue to support Black Wall Street. I tell everybody about it. And every Friday night I'm over there for the karaoke. I mean, they support me and I support them. It's all about supporting one another and putting your dollars here at Stonecrest. I admire Mr. Allen so much because he wanted 100 entrepreneurs to, have their business there. And I mean, he's given up and sacrificed a lot. So I support all the businesses over there. And I recommend and tell everybody about it. I will always do that. And I love Black Wall Street. Thank you.
The city of Stonecrest was created, the city of Stonecrest was created from a study by UGA. That study said the sustainability and the success of this city, it hinged upon public-private partnerships, yes. And actually, people are talking about a vision. The vision is written down in the comprehensive plan that you can go to the city's website now and take a look at it. I was instrumental in helping to write that comprehensive plan. It tells you everything that we should be doing to be successful, you guys, everything. We have to follow it. It's like a map. It's like your GPS in your car. The map is there. We have to follow that map if we want to be successful. Now I'm a businesswoman. I've owned businesses worth $14 million. My ex-husband still owns them in Rockdale. I own my current business here, 2 locations in Stonecrest. Just like Ms. Belinda said, as business owners, we understand that we have 800 businesses here in Stonecrest.
Thank you.
They're not partnering with the businesses, and that's public-private partnership. Thank you.
I think that me and Diane, with all the people up here right now who were here when the city was started and that supported growth in the city. One thing that we have to do, one thing that I did was the film committee that we have here. That's something that I spearheaded and I helped start, and I'm proud of that. One thing that we need to do is we need to get with other leaders in our city, like Tyler Perry, to build an education piece to our community. We can do that right here in Stonecrest. They can partner right now with New Black Wall Street to get this done, to teach people who want to be in the music industry, the movie industry, the things that they need to do to get these jobs that we have here in Stonecrest and throughout Atlanta. We need to partner with people like Mr. Allen, who is a jewel in this city, who built this place that we're in right now, and who owns a lot of land around here. He has a big vision, and we need to partner with him. We're in his city, he's in our backyard, and we're not partnering with him to build infrastructure here for economic development. Those are the things we need to do. We need to reach out to C.D. Moody. We need to reach out to Bill Russell, I think this is his name, Mr. Russell and his family. They build a lot of things in Atlanta. They can come to this city and they can help us out so much. We need to utilize what we have here. Thank you.
So I am a frequent shopper and visitor of New Black Wall Street. And I know you guys can smell now, I'm actually wearing Mother's Gold from the Shea Butter store right down the street. So I can tell you, when I tell you I support New Black Wall Street and I put my money where my mouth is, I make sure you do that. I come here all the time for events and to personally shop here. And that's one of the best ways that we as a council and we as a community can help support the jewels that we have in Stonecrest across the board. Visit, go, put your money where your mouth is. If you want to see better things come to the city, you have to increase the economic power of this city. And so that's one of the ways that I really want to make sure that we're supporting New Black Wall Street is engaging with our residents, making sure we're bringing them in, letting them know that we have great things in the city that we can support, help bring in, and really develop the home. Again, some of the things that we really want to see in the community, we have here in this very building right now. And we can help support that and make sure we're doing that, being an advocate for businesses and partnerships across the city.
Thank you.
So the question is, what ways do you plan to support the future development of the New Black Wall Street market and the village? And I'm the last person to speak. And y'all gonna think that I'm just taking everybody's answers? No. So, but they're saying such good stuff, and you're hearing the message, right? So I agree with Terry that it's gonna be exponentially important for council and city to get behind the people who drive economic development in this city. That's what we're here to do. So, do I believe that the city should support the New Black Wall Street market? Yes, because you're here in the city. We should be supporting all the businesses that are here in the city. It would not be in our interest to do otherwise. How do we do that? Yes, we do it by communicating and making sure that all of our residents know what's happening. And also the city's website is a vehicle for all that is happening in the city, not just the things that are happening at the city level at City Hall. So the city website should include all of the happenings at New Black Wall Street, as well as whatever other happenings that our business owners are having. Clarence Boone used to be the economic development director here. We severed our relationship with Decide to have because of that. But now we are back in relationship.
Thank you.
Inside the cab. Oh.
So we're gonna just breathe a little bit. At the beginning, I said, relax, it's okay, relax. We want the candidates to feel welcome here. We want all of the residents to feel welcome as well. We do have water. We have water in the back if anyone needs water, okay? You can raise your hand, maybe someone can help you, or tip to the back to get bottles of water, okay? Is that good? All right, so we're gonna shake it up a little bit, right? So no one will know who's going to be next. How about that?
Y'all have Advil?
Do we have Advil?
Yes.
You got a little headache, huh? It's okay, just breathe. Because at the end of the day, we are a family community, right? At the end of the day, we all have the same concerns as residents, as property owners. Our children are going to these schools and we're owning these businesses. We should all have all the same concerns, right? And we want to pick the best candidates who can represent the community. So we want to appreciate the fact that, because this is hard to do. It's easy to look on to someone else doing this. So it's a very difficult thing to stand tall with criticism and claps, right? Because you get both when you're standing in a city position. So we want to appreciate the candidates. So the next question is infrastructure development. Infrastructure development. We know that is a big deal because we're always talking about economic development. We want this, we want that, right? And a lot of times we don't think about, can we sustain it? Can we hold it in the house? So this is the question. What is your vision for the development of Stonecrest infrastructure? And how will you prioritize key development projects to attract industries, enhance quality of life, and support economic growth? So that's a meaty question. And we're going to start with Diane O'Donnell.
I might have to repeat that question.
Okay, no problem. Infrastructure. What is your vision for the development of Stonecrest infrastructure? And how will you prioritize key development projects to attract industries, enhance quality of life, and support economic growth?
Thank you for the question. In order to develop infrastructure in Stonecrest, we have to first take a look at okay, can you hear me now? What about now? No? Infrastructure is important. Currently, most of you probably know that I'm currently Public Information and Communications Director for the largest roads and infrastructure project in the city of Stonecrest. You have to be able to move people and goods in order to build a city. Infrastructure in Stonecrest begins with what we have in place. My mother used to tell me, you take whatever you have and you make the best of it. We have Arabian Mountain. We have beautiful green space. We're one of the few cities, there are 13 cities in DeKalb. We're one of the few cities who actually still have land to build on. So we need to take a look at what you want built on that land, and we need to partner with the right type of developers who can bring things in. Let me give an example. We're strategically positioned right off of I-20. We have Arizona's restaurant. It's vacant. Why don't we look at something like a Papados or a Cheesecake Factory, something that wouldn't require us to leave our community every time we want to eat at a nice restaurant. We also have to remember, we have potholes that are recurring. That's part of our infrastructure, you guys. Thank you.
It's a big question.
It's a loaded question.
It is. Most of our questions are loaded.
I'm not afraid.
I raised my hand. Loaded on purpose though, right? Because we need our leaders to be able to think fast, right? Under pressure, know what they're standing on, right? And be able to answer it on a dime. right? So this is a pressure cooker right here. Okay, so we're gonna have, Mr. Terry 5.
Perfect.
Headache okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I like the small town feel of Stonecrest, and I join a lot of District 2 residents who really are concerned that the amount of development that we bring up are going to be at the cost of our green space. Again, a lot of our residents are very concerned that unlike a lot of places like Brookhaven, Chamblee, Atlanta, we still have a lot of green space that we are able to keep. And so making sure that we're balancing that with our infrastructure and with our development is a huge concern of mine. I think one of the big priorities I have for District 2 is making sure that we're following that comprehensive plan and installing that sidewalk along Covington Highway. I grew up in Stonecrest. I remember actually taking my younger brother and sister walking up to some stores and almost getting hit by cars because we didn't have anywhere to walk. And so again, those are huge issues that a lot of people, like myself, alumni of Miller Grove, people from Miller Grove High School, I'm an alumni, go Wolverines, making sure that they actually have a place to walk. Don't hold me, I'm biased. I'm biased, I'll tell you that. But making sure that that our students and our people and our young people have walkability, making sure they have places to go, and our seniors are able to walk and connect our trails and our parks to each other, it's going to be a huge issue. It's going to be a huge thing that I'm concerned with, and making sure we're following with our comprehensive plan.
Thank you. Ms. Belinda Ho.
Well, I actually think the plan, infrastructure plan has already been laid out, and it's in Stonecrest City's comprehensive plan. So I really kind of need to look at that before I can really, answer that. But I have great hopes for Stonecrest, and I know we have to have the infrastructure in place to determine what type of economic development plans we can bring to Stonecrest. So I really need to see the plan because I know it's already laid out. Thank you.
Mr. Frazier.
So, thank you. I was waiting for that question. Thank you so much. 1 minute to do it too, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll be brief, but you heard what the candidates just said. Ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to build businesses in Stonecrest, right? One business should be built upon another business. But what type of business do we want in Stonecrest? Is it art? Is it music? Is it industry and manufacturing, transportation? Is it the film industry? These different diverse businesses we bring to Stonecrest, we need to look at that. And I'm a military guy, right? We believe in putting everything up on the wall and mapping it out so we understand what the flow is, but there needs to be a timeline. There's an infrastructure plan in place, right? We need to follow that plan. If we need to make adjustments to that plan, we make adjustments to that plan. There's nothing etched in stone. I can go on and on right now, so I don't say time. I can stop right there. I can go on and on.
Ms. Maleka Wells.
Thank you. So there's stuff to build on here. There's things that have been established that we can build on for sure. In our listening sessions with District 4, we learned from residents that they're concerned about the lack of sidewalks. They want more connectivity to our walking trails. They want safe passage, like Mr. Fye shared, to amenities that are in their neighborhoods. I'm planning to work with the city's Office of Economic Development and Planning, and also engineering to understand where our dollars are already allocated, and then work with council and the community to determine if priorities for roads, water, and sewer need to be realigned. Proactive citizen engagement, partnering with District 4 businesses and landowners, and collaborating with county, state, and federal partners to align our interests will provide a more complete picture, and it's from that more complete picture that we can take action.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
Great question. It's loaded. I know that we have a plan that's already been put in place by the current administration. I know that I have talked with people who are already wanting to build here in Stonecrest. That big corridor that we have out there, the big space open in front of the mall, they'd like to build something like an Atlantic Station there. They'd like to build something like an Avalon in Alpharetta here, there. They've already bought the land to do this. there. I would like to do that. As soon as I become mayor, I give them permission to do that. They're not able to work with the current administration for whatever reason, but that's something that I would definitely do. And just to show that I'm not the kind of person who, if I'm not elected mayor, this doesn't come into fruition. If Mr. Domo was elected or Mr. Frazier was elected, I would do the exact same thing with them and working with them and their administrations to have this done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you mind repeating the question?
Yes, ma'am. Infrastructure development. What is your vision for the development of Stonecrest infrastructure? And how will you prioritize key development projects to attract industries, enhance quality of life, and support economic growth?
Thank you. So keyword there, vision. A vision is not a plan. A plan supports a vision. My vision for our infrastructure in Stonecrest is that it is modern, accessible, and sustainable. Modern and such that we can attract current businesses with things like laying fiber, running fiber throughout the city that makes this a networked city, that businesses can come in and immediately get started, that home-based businesses are able to thrive because they have that. Accessible in that as we grow, we are actually adapting the size of our roads along with the growth so that we are not creating additional congestion. And sustainable so that we have a healthy environment where we are safe to live, we have clean air to breathe, and that we can protect the green space that we have in abundance that is not available in many other places in this county, so that it is still a beautiful place to live as we grow and build. Thank you.
Okay. So let's go to transparency and accountability. Transparency and accountability. How do you plan to ensure transparency and accountability in terms of informing citizens and allowing for sufficient public input regarding administration actions to gain the trust of residents and maintain integrity within the city government? I'll start with you, Mr. Smith.
Many of you know me from next door, the app next door. I'm very vocal on there. I've been vocal on there since years now. I don't plan on going anywhere. I'm not one of those candidates that's going to disappear when I become mayor and stop vocalizing myself on there, and I'm not going to go absent for the people when I'm on there. I'm not a social media person. I'm not a Facebook guy. I'm not an Instagram guy. You won't find me on there, but you can find me on the Nextdoor app. And my number is 404-585-8118. That will not change when I'm mayor. You can reach out to me. You can text me. When you come to City Hall meetings, I'm not going to shun away from the questions that you answer. I'm not going to go to the back of the room when it's time for the citizens to speak. That's the transparency that I give you guys. That's my promise to you right now before I'm mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Belinda Ho.
Well, for transparency, what I would do, district as the city council, I will create a database with everybody's contact information there. And I will stay connected to them. I will listen to them. I will always want to hear their concerns. And so and if they have any concerns, they can always email me. And I will email them, keeping them updated on the progress of their concerns. I will do virtual town halls, in-person town halls. And so I want them to hold me accountable for whatever I promise to do. And they will know who I am, because a lot of people in District 2 have no idea who their council person is. But everybody will know who I am, because I will stay in contact with them. And I will listen. And together we will come up with a solution.
Mr. Fry.
Gotcha. So rather than talk about what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about what we've already been doing in this campaign. So as I mentioned before, we've made over 5,000 contacts with District 2 residents between doors, text, calls, and mail. So we've made sure to do that and found an infrastructure that works with reaching out to people, getting them involved and letting them know. Ms. Hull is absolutely right. We actually found out the number of District 2 residents who don't know who their city councilman is. It is 83.5% of District 2 residents who we talk to who don't know who their city councilman is. And so we made sure to actually get out, put boots on the ground, make sure that we're talking and constantly engaging with people outside the election year and making sure we're getting them involved so that way they know. So 3 things I plan on doing: town halls, making sure we get that, making sure we build the newsletter, and then also making sure we install virtual office hours so you can schedule when you want to meet with me and ask me questions and set up time.
Thank you.
So there are many long-standing precedents and practices related to transparency in local governments. We can perpetuate those through policy, through communication, and through our example as elected officials. Policy can start with our charter. It can start with adding public comment to every single meeting where city council is present, where the mayor is present, and at least every meeting where a vote is going to be taken. It can be required that we actually communicate with citizens so that decisions are not being made in a surprise manner, where, as Ms. Wells said, you have to go to the website to find out what's happening, as opposed to receiving communication to let us know what is happening. I think another example is, or another way to do that is through our personal example. I mentioned serving as the chair of the Board of Elections, and I will not get to talk about that now, but later.
Y'all are doing a fabulous job, by the way, with all of the loaded questions. Yeah, clap your hands for the candidate. This is great. This is great. Ms. Wells. Sure.
So transparency and accountability, as Ms. Loman shared, there's a lot of ways that we can achieve that, and a significant portion of it, I would advocate, be done through policy and the charter. Why? Because we want to make sure that that's not something that changes every 4 years or whenever you get a new person in office. You want to make sure that those are practices that are established and you can depend on year after year, term after term. So one of the things that I think is important to do, and you may have heard me talking about it at one of these fourth Monday meetings, because I'm usually there at the city council meetings, talking about the fact that we don't have public comments on every meeting agenda, that we don't have more than 2 minutes to give our public comments, that our elected officials are not hosting regular meetings to engage you in the decisions that they're making, that votes are being taken without your input at all. That should never, never happen. Council members are trustees. It's the public trust. We're stewards, and that's it. Okay.
We're fighting for 3 minutes and we're giving you 1, so I think we feel really bad. Okay, Mr. Frazier.
I'll try to finish what they started.
Okay.
I heard it. As long as it said surveys, but like I said, I think you said, last thing you said. Yeah, do you remember? You see how difficult this is, ladies and gentlemen? Because there's a lot of tools I ain't can use live. She talked about public comments. I'm just messing with her. We gotta add public comments back to that format at City Hall. But here's the thing. During one of the meet and greets, we had a person ask a question, same question about that. Why don't we was in the church, why don't we start scheduling town hall meetings by districts? With our district council members, come in with the mayor. And we can sit down one-on-one and talk like we're doing right now. We can pull a chair up and you get a chance to ask your question and voice your concerns. We can talk about problems and come with solutions together. How's that sound? That's what I propose. I'm a leader that believes in leading from the front. I'm not gonna hide from you. That's not in my nature. That's not the type of military officer I was. That's not the type of sergeant or whatnot. I'm not gonna do that to civilian like that, gentlemen. I'm here to lead you. I'm Kirby Frazier. and I'm seeking the office of mayor. Your office is Stonecrest.
Thank you. We are mastering this 60 seconds, aren't we? Absolutely. You'll be sharper after tonight. Ms. Adama.
Okay, I could talk on this all day long, but I'm gonna direct you to the city's website, to their YouTube channel, and you can see a solid record of me publicly advocating for transparency, accountability, and for integrity. So my record is already out there, it's already proven. But taxation without representation is totally unacceptable for us. And what we see now, $100 million have come to the city of Stonecrest. 1.2 million of our 9.7 million ARPA money went to the Board of Education. I support education, but I want to know where the money is. We put $500,000 to Piedmont College. I don't know where the money went. That's totally unacceptable. That's not transparency. We could have gotten 330 street lights at $1,350 a street light in Stonecrest, up and down the streets that I travel today. We cannot move the city forward without accountability, transparency, and ethics. I'm Diana Dolman. I want to be your next speaker.
Thank you. Okay, let's see here. I covered everyone. Everyone got a chance to answer. Okay, very well. This question is pertaining to education and workforce development. How will you address the gap between the skills our workforce possesses and the needs of our evolving economy? What initiatives will you implement to support education and workforce development programs? We will have Mr. Frazier to start.
Thank you for that question. And I'm just trying to think outside the box right now, because there's a lot of mentoring programs going on in DeKalb County now. And there's some going on in Stonecrest. If we start at the lowest levels, I think next week or after this election, I'm gonna be participating in a real reading program at Stoneville Elementary School. Something like that, start with the kids right there, mentoring them, talking to the students, talking to the teachers, developing a plan together there. How can we move the student into a situation where they want to be future doctors, lawyers, engineers, what have you? Some of us went back to the schools and talked to these kids about that. I don't know if some of you parents heard that or not. We've been spending time with them, mentoring them, getting them ready, getting their minds ready. You talk about their minds, getting their minds ready so they can be mindful of what's ahead. There's nothing wrong with having fun right now. Where you plan on being when you get to 8th grade? Where you plan on being when it's time to start getting up to college? And when you get to college, you're gonna run to somebody like me and say, what are you doing? Why are you here? Don't come here wasting your time. What's your plan? These are the things. By this time, we done groomed them. These are thinking outside the box in Stonecrest. Now, workforce development, they can add these skill sets to whatever plan they have. We can partner with them. We can partner with local schools too, Piedmont Technical College, whatever college, and put them on the team.
Thank you.
Have a diverse plan. Thank you.
Next, Ms. Staley.
Would you mind repeating the question?
Yes. Education and workforce development. How will you address the gap between the skills our workforce possesses and the needs of our evolving economy? What initiatives will you implement to support education and workforce development programs?
So I actually have some very specific initiatives that I talk about in my platform related to workforce development and creating academies for our young people and other workers to meet those needs. And I think that we also need to not reinvent the wheel where we don't have to. There are some existing workforce development resources. We heard one candidate talk about at the county level. They exist at the state level. Those of us who got to attend the Atlanta Regional Commission State of the Region breakfast last week heard a fantastic presentation about some trade education and workforce development that is being very successful in another part of Metro Atlanta. So there are a number of opportunities for public-private partnerships for us to create those high-paying jobs that we talked about earlier on and be able to lead our young people into great careers and meet the needs of the commercial district and economic development that we are going to build in the city.
Thank you. Mr. Fye.
So one of the things that I really think we can do in terms of like helping out and making sure that we're developing our workforce is making sure that our students and currently at our high schools, I know that in District 2 we have Lithonia High School and Miller Grove High School, is making sure they know that the traditional college model is not successful for everybody. And it's okay to go for a trade model because we have resources and we have different schools in the area right now that are able to do it. There's some really good technical colleges out there, like Gwinnett Technical College. There's some great and there are great opportunities for people to gain trade skills, things like that, that are constant money makers. My father works with his hands. It's one of the things that keeps them making money, and it keeps it, and it's a consistent skill that we can allow and give our students the accessibility towards. And I think that again, we can do partnerships with places like the Stonecrest Chamber of Commerce to set up these training events and different venues for businesses and different residences to get together and actually show off what are some different opportunities for you in the area.
Ms. Wells.
As I was listening to everyone speaking, one of the things that I was reflecting on is the fact that we're awesome, right? Stonecrest is awesome, but we're not an island. So we don't have to, as Ms. Loman stated, recreate the wheel every time it is we're trying to get something accomplished. There are lots of workforce development initiatives happening all around the state. The one that Ms. Loman was mentioning, because I also attended the ARC summit, was in Kennesaw. And it's worth us taking the time with our Economic Development Office and with the rest of council, with mayor and council, and going to find out what's already been done. What are the best practices that are already available, and how can we partner with them? How can we get access to those places and make sure that our people are receiving the benefit of what's already established? Because the truth is this, we're already 6 years in. Do we have time to try and create something from scratch when things are already in place that we can benefit from immediately?
Ms. O'Donnell.
Employers want to go where there's a trained workforce. So one of the things I would do was set up some strategic training centers here in Stonecrest, because the employers are going to take their business where they can get what? People to work for them, right? And so if we want those high-paying jobs, we have to create a workforce that's attractive to them. The other thing is I had a conversation with the Georgia Department of Labor, and one of the things that we can look at is putting a remote site here in Stonecrest so that we can partner with all of these organizations and companies who are looking for trained people. So we want to train the people, but we also want to have a location here where we'll be able to do that. You have to be able to provide a workforce that the employers want. And I think one of the first things we can do, I'm day one ready, to sit down at the table. I'm the only one up here that have legislative and business experience, 25 plus years of solid business experience. So we need to bring professionalism and experience to Stonecrest, and we need to train people for those high-paying jobs. Thank you.
So,
I agree with everyone up here. We do have to, it's okay to go to a technical school and not go to a four-year college. But I mean, college is really great. Or even there are a lot of apprenticeship programs out there. I mean, I went through a 5-year apprenticeship program to be a journeyman pipe fitter. And journeyman pipe fitter makes more money, they make a lot of money. And I'm all for technical training for different types of jobs. Thank you.
Mr. Smith.
Piggyback on what Diane just said. Her answer was great. How many of you guys have watched the show Greenleaf by show of hands? You guys seen that show on Netflix? It's a great show, right? Did you know that that show was filmed right here in Stonecrest? Yeah. Bill Allen. Oprah Winfrey came down here and she rented out a property in Buckhead. And she was going to film the show there. She saw Bill's property back here. And she said, you know what? I'm going to film the show right here in this city. You know what she had to do to get the help? She had to get the help that comes from Hollywood because we didn't have trained workers here. If we built our own training center, just for videography, photography, and people to hold the lights, if we built that here in Stonecrest, we will be able to produce jobs here in this estate. We have studios in Conyers, we got studios here in Stonecrest, we got them down in Tyler Perry Studios, we got them all over here in Atlanta. It's the fastest growing industry in our city, in Atlanta. If we built that, people will come. Thank you.
I think that was everyone, right? Everyone got an opportunity to answer that question. Thank you. Community engagement. Community engagement. How will you actively engage with the community, particularly with young people, to ensure that diverse perspectives and opportunities are considered when making decisions that directly impact residents' lives? And I will start with Ms. Wells. You are smiling for some reason.
I'm smiling because my sister was telling Anita that's my sister. But community engagement. So in 1999, I married my high school sweetheart, and we have had the awesome privilege. Of raising 4 wonderful children right here in Stonecrest. As a parent, I would love to see our young people be more actively engaged in this community, and certainly my children are constantly looking now to see how they can, what is for them in the city of Stonecrest. As a city council member, I will prioritize community engagement by visiting our local churches, our businesses, and already I've started, obviously, because I'm campaigning, but that's not something I intend to stop doing once I get into the seat. It will be critically important to continue to delve into and fortify those relationships with community. This is the part that this is why I'm running. I'm running to solidify the engagement in District 4, and I want to see groundswell. I envision District 4 coming together to do extraordinary things.
Mr. Frazier.
Oh, I was waiting out. We're going to talk about the kids again, ladies and gentlemen. Mentorship programs. Since the last election, special elections, I got an opportunity to go all over DeKalb County, working with my fraternity. What things have we been doing? We were working with kids. It took a group of kids from DeKalb County, a few from Stonecrest, to Nassau, to see the Space Shuttle program in Huntsville, Alabama. Now, you should see the kids' faces. If they see it, they can achieve it. And we were so proud to do that. We want to do more of that in the future too. Now, Big Brother programs, things of that nature. Not just going out targeting this Stonecrest. We target the whole county. But they asked me, what can we do in Stonecrest? Because it seems to me that there's work needs to be done in Stonecrest. Like I told the guy, I'm for mayor. And we will get you guys in here, along with other organizations too, partner with, to put these programs in place. We got to let your parents know these things are available. We're giving scholarships to kids to go to school. We're talking to them, we're mentioning that. We're making up the professionals out there so they can see us out here. So it's not a surprise to them when they get to these schools. So what is this job of policeman and police? We're telling them what's going on here. Thank you.
Frazier.
You know what
I know it. Ms. Ho.
Well, I have always engaged my community. And right now I do the restaurant, I do live entertainment every Saturday free of charge. I bring in the best bands, I pay for out of my pocket, just so the community can really enjoy themselves. When I was the president of the Homeowners Association, I was the only one that could bring them all together as a family. And that's all my life, that's all I've done was engage people, brought people together. I've always been a people person. I love people, and I've always put people before myself. Thank you.
Ms. Taylor?
If you have not been to Belinda's on a Saturday night, you need to go. My parents come to town and they go there to go dance on Saturday night. So I'll share one of the things that I had the opportunity to do related to community engagement as the assistant county manager for Fulton County government, was make our budgeting and strategic planning process much more inclusive and engaging. And so we created a process that allowed residents to come on an evening and learn about how we spent our budget and weigh in as groups on where they wanted us to allocate their tax dollars. And they got to decide if they wanted us to collect more tax dollars, which is raising the taxes so that they can pay more for these programs, or less, or keep it the same. And we got fantastic feedback on that, and a lot more educated citizens who knew and understood how we were spending their money. When we talk about young people, I have been canvassing with high school students here in Stonecrest and a couple of the high schools, and we're looking into how we can get them more politically engaged as well. Thank you.
Ms. O'Donnell?
Did you know in Stonecrest's budget, there's not one penny allocated for the youth? Did you know that? What kind of city can we be? That's our future. Most of us in here are very young, so we're not going to be around forever. But did you also know that in 2019, I wrote, along with the attorneys and working with the youth and working with Arabian Mountain High School, I wrote a valuable piece of legislation, and we titled it the Stonecrest Youth Council. Go to Stonecrest website and look it up. As of today, we had Delta, we had Coca-Cola, we had many corporations ready to invest in our youth right here in Stonecrest. Now, I'm disappointed, and you should be too, because that legislation, as of today, ladies and gentlemen, no one has cast one single vote on it. No one has cast one vote on our youth. And when you talk about the youth, I believe in intergenerational.
Thank you.
Vote for Diana Doma, that's all I can tell you.
Anybody want to trade seats with them? Pressure cooker, right? Anybody out there ever run for office? Anybody in the audience? So you understand, yes. It's a thing, isn't it? Mr. Smith.
Can you repeat the question for me?
Sure. Community engagement. How will you actively engage with the community, particularly young people, to ensure that diverse perspectives and opportunities are considered when making decisions that directly impact residents' lives?
Right. I definitely think that one of the things we got to invest in is our youth. I think that's one of the things that Diane just hit on it, nail on the head. We're not investing in it. Our city doesn't invest any dollars in it. And I mean, if you don't do that, what do you expect them to do? I mean, they don't have anything to do here in Stonecrest but go to Walmart and steal some stuff. I mean, we got a few basketball courts, but we don't have enough for all of them to go play. We got a few gyms. We got a movie theater, but we don't have a movie theater anymore. What's the youth gonna do? We have to have programs in place for them to have some kind of outlet. We don't do anything with our sports. We don't have anything that we do with any of our youth in the age of 20 to 30, except for a few bars. We gotta do something about this. This is something that we all have to do something about with whoever becomes our mayor and whoever becomes councilman. This is an issue that we all have to tackle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think I've held the secret long I tried hiding it, y'all.
Call it.
But again, I actually was the first, and as a young person, I actually was the first candidate to outline 3 major policies I wanted to pursue for our young people in the city of Stonecrest. So my first policy that I really wanted to engage with, really wanted to work on, is actually creating a high school and college internship program in City Hall to actually give our high school students the actual ability to gain experience and development and actual skills actually within our City Hall when it comes down to finance department, communications, and give them the actual chance to work with our council. The second thing that I want to make sure that we're doing is actively engaging with our high schools. Again, Millbrook and Lithonia High School, making sure that again we're engaging with them and holding voter registration drives with our students to teach them about that voting doesn't start at the top of the president, it goes all the way down.
So this next question, in some way you have answered this question, but it's very specific, so I want you to take a moment to think about it so that you can get as much information in 60 seconds, okay? So this is the leadership strategy question. Leadership strategies, okay? As a potential city council person or mayor, outline your leadership strategy and provide examples of how you have successfully imparted high-level leadership within organizations in the past or present, okay? So I know that you've said some things, but we want the audience to be clear of your leadership strategy. You've answered it in conjunction with other topics. Okay, so is anybody need me to read it again, or we good?
One more time.
One more time. Leadership strategies. As a potential city council person or mayor, outline your leadership strategy and provide examples of how you have successfully imparted high-level leadership within organizations in the past or present. All right, Ms. Day-Loman.
Thank you. I love this question. So I'm going to start with the example first because I didn't get a chance to share it. As the immediate past chair of the Board of Elections, I had the opportunity to take the lead on some policy decisions. And when you step into a role like a chair, like a mayor, like a city council person, you have to be able to influence change. You have to be able to gain consensus. It is not enough to write policies. It's not enough to sit at the dais. You have got to be able to influence people to support your policies. So as I chaired a bipartisan board of people on the Board of Elections, I was able to get multiple unanimous votes for very consequential decisions while I served in that position. And my strategy in stepping into this role would be to ensure that we have a clear understanding of what our role is as mayor, as city council persons, to ensure that we have a council handbook, which is what a common practice in local government, so that we understand the rules, laws, and precedents that apply to us.
Thank you.
And do things like retreats and the like. Thank you.
Mr. Frazier. Some are sitting on the edge of their seats like,
I know,
yes,
right?
that's my question.
We're waiting for her, ladies and gentlemen. I'm keeping it simple. I can talk about the military all day long. Let me talk about something really simple. You guys ever took a job that's going paid for? You were the leader. You are number one. Okay, National Contract Managers Association. I was elected president in Atlanta for the state. Actually, I was the president of the state of Georgia. Here's my role. My role was to revamp that whole system down there with the team that I have in front of me. Now, this team had nothing to do with the team being elected. They went through a process. I just had to learn how to work with them. Let's talk about the leadership part. How do I work with them? Just about everybody on that team, ladies and gentlemen, made anywhere from $80,000 to $100,000+ a year. I'm the only one that don't get paid, right? Now, this is a nonprofit. We all are volunteers. Here's the role. We are here to look at the charter. We are here to look at the bylaws. We're here to figure out how to move this organization forward. But here's the thing. What do? They're contract management professionals. Anything to do with a contract, we put it together for you. Now, the city had that problem. I said to them, I have those experiences.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm
Brown.
sorry. I'll come back to that.
I
Just a
know,
second.
it's difficult. It's passion.
That's okay.
Miss
I was happy.
My leadership style is to engage everyone and also understand that it's okay to disagree with each other. Sometimes I think we get rattled when we disagree with each other, but that's how we get things done. You have to have a difference of opinion. If you don't have a difference of opinion, then everybody is like 10 soldiers and you're not getting any new ideas in order to run the city. Next, you have to respect people. As your next mayor, you may be public commenting, and let me be specific. I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna take the constructive criticism, and I'm gonna ask myself, is this the truth? Do I need to get better? Because people don't care about what you know. They don't care about my PhD. They don't care about 25 years of experience. You know what they care about? They care about how I treat them, how I engage them. Everybody talk about a folding chair. Well, on my administration and my watch, you're gonna have a solid chair. Chair won't fold, will it? If it folds, it's not my chair. You're gonna have a solid chair and you will have a seat at the table. I'm gonna listen to you and we're gonna make progress. Thank you.
Mr. Fine.
Okay. So I'm going to tell a bit of a story. When I was in college and I was speaker of the Senate over with the Student Government Association, I actually had an immigrant student come to me with an issue that I was not familiar with. She said, Speaker 5, we do not have feminine hygiene products in the bathrooms. It was an issue I was unfamiliar with, and so I had to figure out, how can we go about this? And so the way that I handled that issue was I came up with a pilot program. Actually went on the ground and actually came up with a proposal. And before I proposed it to student government, I went to our constituents. I went to every classroom. I spoke at history classrooms, political science classrooms, and I got student feedback, got surveys, and got the whole thing put together from students. Brought it to student government, got it passed, and then I went to administration to actually get the pilot program put forward. They're still using it at Georgia State. The thing that we need to do within City of Stonecrest is re-engage and restore faith with our citizens. And that's the kind of councilman I want to be. I want to be a street-level councilman, a boots-on-the-ground councilman.
Ms. Wells.
So my leadership style is to be self-confident, empathetic, and adaptive. It's called authoritative. Don't be afraid of that. It's not authoritarian, it's just authoritative, meaning that you are a consensus builder. I'm naturally inclined to make sure that people are well. I'm more focused on the people part of the governmental process and the communication process. So that's a strength that I have and a strength that I will bring to the District 4 City Council seat. As far as how I have demonstrated my leadership skills in the past, I'm a consultant with an organization called Global Ubuntu LLC. We primarily do diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. We have a 3-year contract with the Georgia Council on Developmental Disabilities that took me all across the state of Georgia, trying to build consensus across communities, bridging gaps in racial justice and abilities justice.
I have always been a leader. I am a soft salesperson. I've always given respect, and I have always demanded respect. I am a veteran. I'm a licensed journeyman, pipe fitter. I am a master plumber. I have sold many subdivisions. I sold one subdivision. I sold 106 homes in 6 months. And I have a restaurant. I have 22 employees. I take care of everything. So I am a true leader. And dealing with real estate, I got most of my clients from referrals. And like I said, I love people. I'm a people person and I'm a leader, but I listen first. I listen. No one can ever say I disrespected anybody, but I'm a true leader.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
My style is to point out my weaknesses and to capitalize on them by surrounding myself around people who are better at those weaknesses than I am. I've chaired the Wiseman Group, which is a political party for the church and for Christians, for 8 years now. I built my board because I surrounded myself around people who are better at doing things than I am. That's one of the qualities that I'll bring as a mayor. I've talked to the people who are running up here because I think that they're bold, and I've talked to each one of them about what they would represent in my being mayor. I told Ms. Gama that she would definitely be my right-hand person. I told her that he would definitely sit in my cabinet. I'll tell you guys this because I've told her to her face. Ms. Daley, I don't believe that she has the vision to be mayor, but I think she definitely has what it takes to be a city manager. And
Thank
I told
you.
her that that's what she would do when I become mayor. Thank you, guys.
Well, so we have, yes. Everybody still awake? All right, you're awake now, you're paying attention now, right? Yes, indeed, this is an election going on. Yes. So we have two more questions on the card, okay? It's about 7:33, and we will give time for the audience, and then hopefully we'll have some time for some wrap-up space for the candidates. Is that okay? All right. So this is affordable housing. Affordable housing. Do you believe that developing affordable housing should be a high priority for the city of Stonecrest? If so, what concrete measures will you implement to ensure that everyone has access to safe and affordable housing? And if not, why? Mr. Smith.
I'll probably be the only person up here who will give you this answer, but I do not make it a priority in my campaign. I believe that we should have affordable housing. I think that the way that we should get the affordable housing should be through tax incentives. I believe that we give tax incentives to the apartment complexes and people who are renting their homes and companies who rent homes. To make if we give them a tax incentive, then they have to agree to make the homes affordable for people who can afford them. Now, I don't believe in going and creating more ghettos or more project homes because I don't want that in my city. I think we have enough of that. I think that's what brings the crime rate up. And I think that's why we need so many police officers, because we have too many of that right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's stay laid low.
So 53% of the households in the city of Stonecrest are renter occupied. And among that group, many cannot afford to purchase a home today if they wanted to. Affordable housing absolutely is a priority if we want to thrive as a community. Any candidate who tells you that they are not going to prioritize affordable housing does not have the best interest of the majority of the residents in this city at heart. I had the opportunity to go to Congressman Hank Johnson's summit on affordable housing, and I asked a question about community land trusts because I wanted to know what state law said about community land trusts and why we don't have any. And they admitted that state law does not prohibit them, we just haven't been doing it. There are a host of tools that we have neglected as leaders that we need to take advantage of to aggressively return rental properties to ownership and help people live affordably. Thank you.
Ms. Wells.
The answer is yes. I do think that affordable housing should be a priority for the city council. Our the draft of our economic development plan has already detailed that there's a gap between what most residents in Stonecrest can afford and what the housing market currently provides. And so we do need to address that. The ways that we will address that will be partnering with our Office of Economic Development to determine and do a market affordability analysis of what's here, and also to partner with planning and zoning to do an assessment of the land that's available here and to find the developers, because they exist, and to invest in them to do the types of development that are going to be affordable, but also aesthetically pleasing, because we have standards and we hear about it all the time in our CPIM meetings and our city council meetings, that there are things that Stonecrest residents need to see in order to feel comfortable.
Mr. Fry. Fry. I'm calling him Mr. Fry. Mr. Fry.
It's fine. So again, I have a bit of a balance that we need to make. I think that there's a lot of confusion between low-income housing and affordable housing. So I don't think anybody here is against the market creating affordable housing that are competitive, and that we're making sure that again that's being built. I think the issue that a lot of our residents have is housing that's being bought up by out-of-state developers, the price being lowered, and then people who don't care about this community moving in. And that's the main concern. In District 2, we have a plethora of residents who have been here since before I was born. They were here since some of them were the first people of color to move in this area. And so we need to make sure that again we're finding a neat balance where we're able to create competitive housing and also affordable housing.
Thank you. Ms. O'Donnell.
I believe it was last week I got a personal invitation to attend the DeKalb Board of Realtors annual meeting. And I got an earful of what we need to be doing in Stonecrest. As Ms. Hull have said, she's a realtor. And it's very important for us to understand that there's very little room for us to continue to build. But let me give you some stats. There are 364,000 people in Georgia without housing. Housing is a human right. Of that 364,000, our rent have went up by 33%. Now, if you're making $10, $15 an hour, you can't afford a decent house. I'm going to solve that problem by working directly with the DeKalb Board of Realtors so that we can do an assessment of what's working, what's not working, and what do we need to do to make it better. We should not have people sleeping at where we go to vote, homeless people laying there. That's unacceptable. I'm going to change that. And you're not going to find people sleeping at our Board of Election or wherever we go. Vote for Diane. I just said that.
That's all right. It's all. It is. It's passionate. You understand?
It is so unfortunate the houses are priced where they're really not affordable. When the interest rate was running between 2.75, 3 and 4%, anytime the interest rate is low, the prices of the houses just go up crazy. Right now, the interest rate is 7%. It stabilizes the prices of the houses, and they're on the way down a little bit. But the average person here in Stonecrest do not make the money to buy the average price house. It's hard to find a really nice house under $300,000 now. But I feel like maybe we could build some townhouses or condos that can be affordable for people here in Stonecrest to buy. And we've got to focus on, like I said, economic development, trying to bring in higher paying jobs so we can make more money. But affordable housing.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. So environmental sustainability. Environmental sustainability will be the last question posed to the candidates. And then if anyone has a question for them, please raise your hand, okay? Okay. Do we have a microphone?
If people that have questions, if y'all can line up right here.
That's why I wanted to say,
Let's line up right here behind me. and I'll get a microphone.
Testing. Do we have a number? Come in together, right?
So many, yeah. Yeah, but taking that poll, I think it's best that we skip the last question. And, because there's a line.
Krista, what do you want them to line up?
If they can, because I think we want to see them in the
Okay.
camera view. If the camera text and make sure they can see them.
So right there on the corner.
Yes, right there. It's okay, we're gonna skip the last question because we are paying attention to the passion in the room. So if you could stand right there where the intersecting red lines are. Yes, ma'am. Okay, your name and if you would pose your question.
Hello, everybody. I know almost everybody up here.
Is it on?
Yes. My name is Faye Cofield. I've lived in this area for about 44 years.
We can't hear you.
I've lived in this area for 44 years as a homeowner. I remember when they were talking about building the mall. I remember what the mall was supposed to be. The mall went to Gwinnett. That was what was supposed to be. It is my understanding, in this hall you may be able to verify this, that $750 million worth of bonds were issued for the redevelopment of the mall. So I want to know how each one of you plans to make sure that that money is put into the mall, because my understanding is that the bonds have been issued, and yet still we have not seen any development at the mall in over 20 years.
Thank you.
Yes, I would like to. Yes, I would like to.
Ms. Hull?
Can you hear me? That $700 bond, $700 million bond was issued to do Black Wall Street right there from the mall all the way down to Evans Mill. So it was projected that it would take actually 14, anyway, he only asked for half the bond because of the cost of the bond. It's a cashless bond. There was no money ever issued on that bond. But see, people have to realize, in order to bring business into a failing city, you have to give some type of incentive. And to give a tax break, that's what that is, it's a tax break. So he will not pay taxes for 20 years on that, what it was called Black Wall Street. So when you look at the fact that he's not paying property taxes, but look at all the money he's bringing into the city. That was and see, just like, I mean, that is how it works in cities.
Thank you. Does anyone else?
But it took less than $100 million to build Avalon.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
that's what I'm getting confused.
We're going to try to keep it to 1 minute so that we can get everybody, as many as we can in, okay? So on both sides, if we could, yes, thank you.
My name is Dave Marcus. I'm curious for each of the candidates what your opinion is of the draft economic development plan that the city is reviewing.
Ms. Daly,
Business? Okay, great. So I had the opportunity to be at the Economic Development Committee meeting when the plan was presented. I think that what was presented is a fantastic start. I really wish that we had gotten that about 5 years ago, and we may be in a different place than where we are as a city. I'd like to delve a lot more into the targeted industries for the city and understand some aspects that they talked about, and now I'm not remembering some of the specifics. I took about 2 pages of notes. on it, but I do have some questions that I'd love the opportunity, as you saw during that meeting, to sit down either with the committee, the economic development director, to delve more into, but I think it's a great start.
Thank you. Did anyone else want to address the question? Okay.
Everybody, but this is time.
Not really. We could just get one good, someone who really knows the subject matter. That would be great. Okay, your name and your question.
Angela Venable. My question is, during my 6 years of employment at Stonecrest, I personally witnessed citizens and employees voice their concerns in regards to the environment of the inside of City Hall, as well as the condition to the outside of City Hall. The concerns went unnoticed. Well, the concerns went to the city manager. The answers received were either unsatisfactory or there was no answer at all. It escalated to the mayor and council, and the answers were still either delayed or unanswered. If elected, how long would it take you to answer the citizens and employees' questions and concerns? How would you help the city manager to work with the citizens to gain satisfactory answers? And would you take an extra step to personally pick up the phone or go to the citizen's home and speak with them face to face?
I would like to answer that question.
Adama.
Angela, thank you for the question. And my answer to that is absolutely yes. I don't have an issue meeting with any constituent. I've already shown you that I would do that. I've already shown you that I'm accountable and I'm transparent. I think that it's important that every voice in Stonecrest, whether you like that person or not, should be heard. Whether you like their idea or not, they should be heard. Whether you like, where they live or their race or whatever, their voice should be heard. We've not had that, and citizen engagement and respect is extremely important. I think I'm one who's always had consistent town hall meetings, and I think one of the things we got to look at in the city of Stonecrest is look at the total staffing and do a quality staffing analysis to make sure that every single individual that's working on our tax dollars, that we're holding them accountable. If elected your next mayor, the first thing I'm gonna do is do an analysis of the existing staff to make sure that we have qualified people. Right now, we have a city manager making $200,000+. That's more than Senator Warnock and also that's unacceptable for what we have. Thank you.
Can I answer that question? I just want to pose this to all of y'all. This is why it's so important that you guys come out and vote for your mayor. The leadership that the mayor has is going to reflect down to the rest of the council. If you have a mayor who is not taking on questions from the constituents, then the council is going to reflect that. So you guys have to make sure that whoever you vote for mayor is going to be the leader that you want to see there, because that's going to reflect on what these guys do and what the other people who are already in office do. Thank you.
Thank you. You stand right on the intersection.
Hello.
Renee?
Yes, hi, my name is Dawn Seymour. Thank you all for being here tonight. So I have my one question for candidate Adoma. Well, two questions actually. So one, I know you mentioned there are some other cities that you supported and kind of helped flourish. So I wanted to ask about that. And then I know doing some research, I know there's a legal battle. So has that also been resolved too?
Thank you so much for your question. First of all, there is no legal battle, and there is no legal document. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think everyone here deserves to know the truth. If you can find a legal document that's signed by a judge, I'm more than happy to revisit that question. What was your other one?
The other cities that you helped.
Oh, okay. She wanted to know what other cities have I helped. Let me give one that really makes my heart rejoice. Anybody know where Pritchard, Alabama is? Oh, we got some people in the house. Okay, well, Pritchard, Alabama is down near Mobile, right next to Mobile, Alabama. They hired me as a consultant to come down and serve on their compliance committee when the COVID and the CARES Act money was being distributed by the US. Well, I didn't answer her question yet. Anyway, they had a Starbucks when I left.
Okay, so
Your name, please.
my name is Michelle Emanuel. You guys probably know me a little bit. My question is, I'm noticing that economic development. But when I'm reading about these meetings, there's money in I think it's the Inflation Reduction Act. Nobody from Stonecrest is at these meetings. Tucker's there.
Dunwoody's there, Brookhaven is there. It's for everybody. I want to know who is going to take responsibility to make sure that we are getting our fair share. We are all taxpayers, and we deserve to get as much money as everybody else in North Decatur.
Thank you. Someone who hasn't had an opportunity to speak, someone who has not had an opportunity to answer.
I'll answer that question.
Okay.
I know that Ms. Logan wants to answer that question really bad.
You want to give it to Ms. Long?
But I'll let her share with that.
Okay, all right. 30 seconds.
What you just said was very point on, spot on. Now, the mayor should be monitoring all that, the big picture, right? If this money is available for the city, then we should have a seat at the table. I know Dr. Adama said that a lot of times when this event goes on at the State House. But the mayor should assemble a team that's focused on Stonecrest, our interest in Stonecrest. So we're covered too. We don't leave money on the table. We don't leave money on the table. And if I'm letting you know, we won't leave money on the table.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Logan?
So we're 3 years behind, I think, on our annual financial audit. That disqualifies us from getting grant funding. We have got to catch up on that. Then we have to have the appropriate talent in place who actually understands that you can supplement your revenue by pursuing grants and bring those individuals in so that we can make that a part of our regular operations.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Next question, your name and your question.
Hi. Oh, wow, I didn't realize my voice carried. My name is Keturah Montgomery, and I'm a here to Stonecrest.
Welcome to Stonecrest.
So I had to move with my family because I've been out of work since December 2022. I do have a degree in business. I have done amazingly wonderful things. HR is going high up as HR business partner. So now today I'm indigent. I have nothing. I would be probably on the street corner begging for money to pay for my car note in the next couple of days. What will you be doing that when I go to these job fairs, I'm able to find a job and be able to be a productive citizen of Stonecrest? This is, I'm like at the end of my rope, and that's the main reason why I came here. What will you do to help people like me and not forget it? Someone care about you. That's not my vote. You're not getting my vote. So for the rest of you, what can you do for folks like me where I will happily give you my vote until I'm a friend to let them answer? Thank you.
Wells, Mrs. Wells.
So, thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for asking your question. It's important that we have and create spaces to have those dialogues. So it's really important that we create spaces to have those dialogues. We have to find the people like you. It's our job to find where you are and make sure that we're getting access to your information. My faith background dictates that I don't let my left hand know what my right hand is doing. So you're not likely going to hear about anything that I'm doing because my faith background says that's not why I'm doing it in the first place. I'm not doing it so that you know what I'm doing. But I have been doing work, and I have been finding people, the vulnerable people in our communities, and trying to connect them with the resources that they need. Those are largely done in direct messages and in the background, because that's not the point. The point is not so that you know that I'm doing stuff.
Thank you.
The point is that it gets done. But we're going to find you.
On the red intersection, your name and your question.
My name is Tabitha Weaver, and I don't know, this may seem like a mediocre question, but it's a big deal to me. Pothole problem. How will you fix our pothole problem? How long will it take, and how will it be paid for?
Mr. Thigh.
So that's actually a great question. I have a question for everybody in this room. Have you all early voted? Raise your hand if you have. Okay then, so for everyone who hasn't early voted, one of the ways that you can actually help us take care of the potholes in the roads and repainting and overall resurfacing and add that in is to vote for both the EHOS, and the SPLOS ballot referendums vote for both of those out and about. That we have millions of dollars slated by our current council to actually repave and actually take care of those issues. So if you have not voted, please make sure you do.
Thank you.
Over there.
Intersection, your name and your question, please.
Hi, my name is Gwen Wilson, and my question is specifically for Ms. Logan, if you don't mind. I'd like for her to answer this question. I am one of the merchants here at the New Black Wall Street, so I'm kind of biased to the New Black Wall Street. My question is for the merchants that are here, what kind of support would be given if you were to become mayor to the New Black Wall Street, but not as a whole, for the small businesses that are here that kind of suffer from the support that we do not get from the current administration? And what can be done for that and not get caught up into this battle that has been going on with what's going on with Wall Street? Because it doesn't hinder Wall Street, it's just the building.
Thank you.
The merchants make up what it's supposed to be incorporated into.
Ms. Lowe.
Thank you. Thank you for that question, Gwen. And I first would want to sit down with you all and hear the breadth of your concerns to be able to provide a more detailed answer. Right now, what I would say is fix the business licensing process, which is hopelessly broken right now for the city of Stonecrest, to make sure that merchants like yourselves and every other entrepreneur and business owner can easily navigate the process. And there was another part of your question I wanted to answer.
Well,
Yes, you may.
Along with that, the things that are not the help that
Yes,
Wall Street
is not. Yes. So I envision us establishing a small business development division. That is a very common offering in local governments. Most of the local governments that I've worked for have had them. And so that provides a breadth of resources, technical support for merchants and entrepreneurs that you all will be able to take advantage of. So that's the other.
Thank you. 3 more questions? Yes. Your name and question, please.
My name is Sam White. How y'all doing? I guess my question would be for everybody sitting down. Have any of you ever invested in stocks?
Yes.
Yes. Made money?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I am a commodities broker, and I actually play with the commodity exchange a lot. So it's as simple as saying I hear economic development, and when we talk about economic development, I hear we teach kids how to fish because trout actually is $25 per pound.
Do you have a question, sir?
Yes. My question is please, whoever is elected for mayor or city council, I would love for you guys to make sure we start teaching Black kids how to farm, how to fish, how to woodcut, how to do agriculture. What's the word I'm looking for when it comes to building? Architecture, right? So.
Thank you. Does
yes.
anyone want to?
So those are specifically in my platform. I referred to academies that I wanted to establish for our young people. One of those includes agriculture, masonry, and media, and others that are aligned with the industry that we are trying to build here in Stonecrest. So, already on my mind.
Your name and question, please.
How y'all doing tonight? My name is Gregory Rivers. I'm CEO and founder of North Red Speed. So this question is besides, not for you, because you've been answering everything. So this question is for the rest of you. How are you going to improve your IT infrastructure for Stonecrest? Right now, the technology infrastructure is way below average what we need for us to even scale to grow. So please, I would like to know how you all can do that.
Ms. O'Donnell.
Thank you so much for the question.
In 2018, as you know, I proposed that Stonecrest be the first smart city in the state of Georgia. We missed that opportunity. I go back to that. You probably don't know that Google have laid fiber all the way up and down Evansville, including my entire neighborhood. So they're planning for the technology blitz. It's going to happen. We already have the infrastructure in place in Stonecrest to become a smart, innovative city, to be able to have a data center here. Those things are there. That's the future. The new jobs are in technology, healthcare, and tourism. And for that, we're working with the youth with biometrics. Right now, we're doing fingerprint, voice recognition. All those things are coming. I would like for Stonecrest to take the lead with that. We had the opportunity. I hosted it right here on Mr. Allen's property, a smart city webinar. It was standing room only at the startup factory. And we had AT&T there, we had Sprint, we had, thank you. In other words, it's gonna get done for you.
2 more questions. If you would stand at the red intersection, your name and question, please.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hello.
As you know, I am your current state representative. I plan on continuing, just so you know, next year. What I want to know, and Miss Adama, I don't want you to answer this, because I know that you can answer this. I want to hear what everyone else has to say. How? First of all, we know that the mayor is good, but the city council members do the heavy lifting. So I want to know, because it's not being done now, I'm on film, I said that. How do any of you all, or what is your plan to work with state government? Because if you go up and down your corridors, you see that we have put our people to work already. The state is working. We are building that infrastructure that the president has given us money for. We are investing $188 million into infrastructure of I-20. What's your plan on working with us?
So I'm gonna split that between Wells and 5, okay? Okay, so Ms. Wells.
That was a great question, and thank you, Representative Moore, for asking it. So, yes, partnerships are critically important, and you're right, we haven't seen a lot of partnership happening yet between the city of Stonecrest and our state representative, also with our county representatives, additionally with our federal representatives. I have already started making those connections, already started networking and introducing myself to people at different levels of our government. So I am going to continue that work of building those inroads and building relationships and definitely planning to be in the room when the decisions are made, when the discussions about money and allocations of funding is getting done. To Ms. Emanuel's point, I intend to be there. And you're right, it is the heavy lifting of the city council, but it will be good. It will be done.
Okay, Mr. Fye, you wanted to answer that real quick, and then we have one more question for the evening. We're doing pretty good. It's been some heat in here. We're just 5 minutes after, okay?
Yep, I think Ms. Wells actually said that the lines brought to be answered is actually saying yes. Making sure that we're down at the Gold Dome during session and actively playing a part in lobbying for bills that are going to actually help out Stonecrest. Because again, there are things that are coming, like we talked a lot about film in here, and I know that the difference that the Senate is looking at, and different members of the legislature are looking at modifying the film tax credit. Those kind of issues are happening down at the Gold Dome, and we need to make sure that we have that. I can tell you that I have good relationships with state reps, and I can make sure that we're giving that relationship and making sure we're advocating for things like SB 233, making sure that we're giving resources to our citizens.
Thank you very much. Last question, if you would stand on the red intersection, your name and question, please.
Good evening, my name is Phyllis Hatcher. And my question is, how do you define affordable housing when you have a salary of $10 to $15 per hour, when there are investors building homes at a minimum of $300,000? So how do you define affordable housing?
Frazier, did you want to?
Yes, I could. We've been talking about this the whole journey. We're talking about understanding, ladies and gentlemen, low-income housing, affordable housing, there's a difference. Does everybody understand the difference? We want to make sure everybody understands the difference. There is a difference when we have this conversation. Now, what she just said just now about affordable housing, medium income is too high. Medium income in Stonecrest now is about $55,000. Houses at $300,000, how can they afford it? It's unrealistic. We're going back to economic development again. We got to have a strong economic development. But do we want it now or do we want it later? You have to be realistic. It sounds like something we have to plan for the future. Because it's not going to come out of the air. We got to be realistic about these things here. We got to be realistic about these things here. It's going to take a little time because it just came out of the pandemic. But we have to have a solid economic development plan. And we have to follow it. People need to understand. These businesses that we put in Stonecrest, these businesses we put in Stonecrest, are they supporting what our visions are? Are they? We have to really look at that when we give these people licenses, permits. Because we're trying to come up. Now, 6 years, 7 years, what was the vision? I don't know what the vision was back then. Because something went wrong.
Thank you.
Okay, one more comment. We need to people, like you just did, step up and keep pushing us to give you an answer.
Thank you so much. We have come to the conclusion of the candidates forum here. We appreciate that the New Black Wall Street was, the host place for such a very important, yes, we can clap our hands. Such a very, very important forum. Lots of meaty questions. We hope that you got lots of answers. And guess what? They are available if you have more questions after. We are going to conclude at this moment. Thank you so much for joining us. If all of the candidates could take your microphones. Take a picture, okay. They'd like for all the candidates to take a photo real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, after we take the photo, this room needs to be reset. We appreciate everyone coming out, but we will need to be exiting the room as soon as this photo is taken. Thanks for coming.
Okay, I got one person right here. All right, ready? Thank you, guys.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You guys have a good night.